Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Wise Decision Maker Show, where we help you make the wisest and most profitable decisions. My name is Dr. Gleb Tsipursky. I'm the CEO of Disaster Avoidance Experts, the future of work consultancy that sponsors the Wise Decision Maker Show. I'm joined today by Scott. Scott, can you please introduce yourself and share a little bit about what you do?
My name is Scott Cawood. I'm the CEO of an organization called WorldAtWork, and we specialize in total rewards optimization, meaning we take compensation, benefits, and rewards in about 162 countries and try to standardize those practices so that people are paid fairly, people are paid as well as possible, and that organizations do what they need to do to keep growing and earning the revenue they want. So that's what we're about, and I'm happy to be here today. So thanks for having me.
And thank you for coming. So, we were going to talk about generative AI adoption in the world of total rewards, compensation professionals. Tell me what you've observed.
Yeah, one of the things about being a part of WorldAtWork is we have a platform called Engage. It's where all the members get to have dialogue, right? It's direct member to member, so they can talk about whatever they want. And we've been monitoring, of course, all the chats and the activity around AI, and it's pretty much been explosive. There have been things
Mhm.
from questions, solutions. There's certainly some of our consulting friends are in there as well and can provide solutions. But the activity levels alone on the Engage platform, which is a member benefit, has just been extraordinary. And I think it's covered everything that we would want from the learning curve, somewhat new even a year or so ago, in terms of how do we adopt some of the AI to make it work for TR. But the conversations have been quite robust, and they're now getting to the point where they're sharing resources, and also a few test cases have shown up, something somebody has done, and so we're getting some evidence of what people have actually done in real life, and we can kind of read it all on the Engage platform. So it's been kind of fun to watch it unfold. But very active.
Yeah.
It's a very active space right now.
Excellent. So tell me a little bit about some test cases that you find to be interesting.
So, part of in the beginning, we saw a lot of people testing where they could go, in essence, with kind of routine task automation, things that
Mhm.
we don't like to do, some analysis, some easy analysis. But I think the real value that we're seeing now is coming in, taking really complex data sets and working through it
Mhm.
much faster than a human could. Be that trying to identify other pay gaps, trying to identify any other predictors, of course, of future behavior, anybody that might be disengaged. So we're not
Mhm.
getting so much into those pieces right now, but we are seeing just being able to take a lot of data and look at
Yeah.
it differently. And that's one of my big encouraging, that's what I've been encouraging our member companies to do. We talk about generative AI a lot, but AI is actually a big bucket of technologies. There's several
Mhm.
aspects to it. And the ability to ascertain what do I use for what, and even going past generative to thinking about how do we leverage all of AI for total rewards or
Mhm.
compensation. I think it's just important to keep in mind there's a lot in there that you can use. Not just building new stuff, but taking what you currently have, the data sets you currently have, and having something like AI take a look at it differently. There's a lot of activity in the space
Mhm.
around looking at big data sets differently because you can now.
Mhm.
You couldn't do it before. I mean, a human being can't go through all this data in the time frame that AI could. So that's one of the cool benefits
Mhm.
I think that we're seeing.
Now, of course, people have a lot of anxiety around generative AI. We talked about certainly all sorts of AI, but generative AI especially because it's able to do things that they were previously able to do, and now it's replacing some of their tasks. And the more advanced it's becoming, the more tasks it can replace. What have you seen around anxiety and concerns around generative AI adoption?
I think 2 points there. We know about 55% of our member companies are doing some type of AI training for their HR or TR teams, right? So about a little over half are doing some formalized training already. However, there's around a little bit more percentage-wise also report anxiety, especially from the more routine tasks that they're doing in the workplace. Meaning it's not just the tasks TR and HR people are doing, but in general, folks are worried about automation as it relates to being replaced. And I don't want to scare anyone, but the fear is well placed. It's real. If you've not spent time on AI as of now, you're behind, right? You're already behind. And I do think there will be ultimately more jobs created with the assistance of AI than we're going to lose. But we are going to lose a significant chunk. And unless you're kept keeping up with the skill development, digital skill development, you do have a chance of being replaced, right? And not find something to do. So my hope, even doing talks like this, is that people will start diving into AI and understanding the contours of it, really what you could do with it, because if not, you're already behind, and I don't want you to fall further behind. But
Mhm.
every aspect of every single job on the planet has some degree of automation that it could be done by AI. All of our jobs, including CEO
Mhm.
jobs. So
Mhm.
there's nobody exempt from it. So it is time to delve in. But the fear is pretty real. We see it a lot in the surveys. People are still quite worried about what does it mean, and is my job going to be at a potential loss? And when you have a U.S. economy that's doing what we're currently going through, I
Mhm.
think it adds even more uncertainty to that. So it is a little bit of a tumultuous time for sure.
I bet. Now, let's think about, envision what the future might look like. So, of course, compensation professionals are looking at benchmarking data from other companies around compensation. They're recommending compensation. AI can, of course, do increasing amounts of that. So, when you're thinking about specifically job loss and job gain in the compensation field, where do you see compensation professionals going when AI is simply, as you mentioned before, better at parsing data and benchmarking data, and increasingly it's going to become better and better at doing that, getting data from other companies, coordinating with other companies, benchmarking, making recommendations, optimizing for retaining people based on compensation, optimizing incentive packages, because of course it can do that much better than humans. Where do you see compensation professionals in the future where they might gain more jobs and lose jobs?
Yeah, I guess I'll answer that by telling you why there's one piece of the AI automation integration that I'm so extremely excited about, and it's nothing that we've talked about yet. It's really the ability for us to know our employees in ways we've never known them before.
Mhm.
There's this interesting dynamic in organizations where we kind of draw a box around our employees, and we don't ask too many personalized questions. We try to stay out of their
Mhm.
business in their personal lives. And but at the same time, if you look at a retailer, let's take, Target, Walmart,
Mhm.
whomever, they know so much more about their consumers than employers oftentimes know about their employees. And
Mhm.
AI can take care of that in terms of turning that workforce into a very,
Mhm.
very much into an ability to understand what engages them, what
Mhm.
disengages them, and then you can predict, are they going to quit? When are they going to quit? There's so much we
Mhm.
can do with this. And that, to me, that's the most exciting part of integrating AI into not only the comp plans and even designing comp plans, but really
Mhm.
understanding your workforce in a way that we've never been able to do before for a
Mhm.
variety of reasons. So if Target and Walmart can know their consumers better than we know our employees, that means we've got room to grow using AI to do that. So that's one thing I'm really excited about. In terms of skills, I don't foresee the skills that compensation and benefits people need today to be changing all that much. I think they've got
Mhm.
very technically advanced skills. As long as they're kind of being able to integrate that into the digital economy that we're moving
Mhm.
into, I think they'll be fine. But what I do think is going to shift
Mhm.
is the ability to know, you're going to have to know, a skill you're going to have in the next 5 years is, when do I choose a human to do the work and when do I choose AI to do the work? And that includes
Mhm.
being able to supervise AI, right? You can't just have AI go run wild. You have to have an ability to work within it.
Mhm.
It almost has got some human characteristics in that way. It needs to be modeled. It needs to be coached. It needs to
Mhm.
be refined. It needs to be talked to in a way that makes sense. So that particular skill set will be new for total rewards and compensation
Mhm.
people. But all the other skills, I think, are also still going to be needed because there is a modicum of the human element. When you look at even
Mhm.
large data sets, you have to make sense of it in a way for that particular organization at that particular moment in time, whether it's a
Mhm.
startup or you're 75 years old. That all has an implication on what the data means, and AI
Mhm.
won't necessarily be able to point that out, but a human
Mhm.
being can point it out with the support of AI.
Now, when you think about compensation information and benefits information and especially finding out all these details about employees, deep details, there's a lot of risk management that needs to be involved around data security and privacy. Tell me about what conversations you've been hearing around that, about the needs for data security, privacy, safety, making sure that the AI is aligned with the company objectives and human values more broadly.
Yeah, there's certainly AI in its utilization around very detailed information such as your compensation, obviously
Mhm.
your things like your social security number, all the things that we hold dear. HIPAA violations could occur easily, right, in this
Mhm.
situation. The reality is that data set, all the data sets that are currently in organizations need to be protected and they need to have another level of scrutiny as you relate to what you're
Mm,
putting out there for AI to either use, scoop up, because there have been cases already where folks have not
mm,
realized that everything they're putting out there in AI goes somewhere, is housed somewhere. So I do think we've seen a lot of company policies change very quickly. Here's how we use AI.
mm,
That's why I'm glad we're seeing a lot of training going on AI, what it means per
mm,
company. Each company may use it differently, but I think it is a concern. We already have enough, lapses in data here and there, data integrity breaks. But I'm hoping that if we all go through this together and we're kind of
mm,
working toward the collective capability of integrating AI, not just in knowing when to use it and when not, but how to use it,
mm,
we don't want to skip that part because it could end
mm,
up being a disaster. It's why I tell companies all the time, don't start with something really big. Take something you know pretty well, take an already defined
mm,
data set, plop that into AI and see what it tells you that you don't currently see. Because
mm,
otherwise, you just you could be quite reckless if you go in too quickly.
mm. That makes sense. Now, as we finish up, where do you see AI heading in the next year, and how is it going to impact total rewards compensation professionals?
It's interesting. In 2024, our big Total Awards conference was in San Diego. And we had an entire section of the main floor set up with computers and everything. And it was really an AI playground where you could come in knowing nothing and you could come in knowing a lot, but it was a safe place to try anything you wanted. We had data sets loaded and you could really kind of put your hands on and try to start interacting. And we were amazed at the skills that got developed even in the 2 to 3 day conference. So
Mm,
we ended up putting it back in for this year. We'll be in Orlando in May. But we had 60 submissions just on AI topics related to TR and compensation just this
mm,
year alone. Now we've chosen the best 10, so we're looking forward to having those there. But even just the amount of people wanting to speak about total rewards and AI, it has gone up quite a bit. We got more submissions this year than even last year, and I expect that to continue.
mm,
So I do think where we will see the biggest value is on the predictive analytics coming out of AI.
mm,
Again, I want to encourage people to take their big data sets, dump it in one of the, either generative or prescriptive, whatever you want to play with, and see what it tells you that you currently aren't seeing. Because then you're going to understand the real value of what AI can do for you, and it's not going to be in a harmful way because the data set you
mm,
already have it's contained, right? So it's good. I do think that we'll continue to see more and more of our routine tasks go away. I think
mm,
that's probably going to be a path we're all going down.
mm,
But the other thing too is I would encourage folks who are thinking about AI to only use it when you're sure you have a benefit outlined that's going to help the company or the employees. For
mm,
example, if you're going to venture into the benefit space, look at benefits as a cost savings. What can AI help
mm,
you save on benefits? Not just what new benefits can I offer, but where can it help you save and cut costs?
mm,
Where can it help? Where can AI accelerate skill development so that you know you have a workforce that's
mm,
ready to give you what they need to give you in their skill set? And there's lots of ways to use it. I'm also
mm,
excited to figure out can we have some indicator, some predictor AI that helps us really predict turnover, right? And when someone's
mm,
dissatisfied and checked out, because we all know it's better to have somebody quit and leave versus they quit and
mm,
stay. And it never
mm,
kind of feels and works as well as it could. But AI can
mm,
help us with all of that. And that to me
mm.
is where I see us going next.
Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise, Scott. That was very helpful.
Awesome. Well, good luck to you, and we'll talk again soon.
And thank you to the audience for checking out another episode of the Wise Decision Maker Show. Please make sure to subscribe wherever you checked out the show and leave a review. It helps other people discover the show and it helps us improve the show. And if you have any questions, as always, email me at gleb, Gleb, at disasteravoidanceexperts.com.